Yeah, I would take this opportunity to thank AIOS as well as Dr. Rashmin for making me part of this national symposium. My talk for today is anti-ischemic optic neuropathy, its diagnostic and management aspects. So I would like to share that as we all know, anti-ischemic optic neuropathy can be of arthritic type and non-arthritic type. I would take you to three different cases where it had a different presentation than the typical one. So first was a case of 38-year-old female who complained with sudden loss of vision for few days, had severe headache on both sides of temporal areas, had low history of low-grade fever almost 2 months back, and a history of jaw claudication for 15 days. She had a very, very poor vision in her both eyes with non-reactive pupils. So by the clinical picture, it looks like that's probably we are dealing with an arthritic AION, but her age is one thing that goes against the diagnosis. This was her fundus picture, which showed severe retinal pallor and severe disc pallor. Her angiography also showed characteristically dark choroid and filling defects. Her ESR levels were raised and her CRP levels were also significantly raised. On retrospective history, we saw that she had pain and weakness in muscles for almost 6 months. There was problem with hearing, and there was headache which was continuously present for past 1 month with severe intensity present in both frontal and temporal region. And there was history of jaw claudication as mentioned earlier. Her physical examination revealed that she had severe pallor, edema, temporal artery tenderness, as well as seventh nerve weakness. So after investigating extensively, we found that she has her renal function test, which were abnormal, and she had an positive P ANCA test. So a temporal artery biopsy was also done, which was suggestive of vasculitis. A kidney biopsy also was suggestive of vasculitis. So final diagnosis of ANCA-associated anti-ischemic optic neuropathy was made along with post-immune glomerulonephritis. She was started on IV steroids and injection cyclophosphamide. Unfortunately, she did not improve much. Yeah, as far as vision was concerned, she did not show much of improvement even in spite of the treatment. So I just want to highlight that all AAIONs are not giant cell arthritis. A detailed systemic investigation is required, especially if atypical features are present, as in our case. So the next case, coming to the next case, this was a 48-year-old male who complained of sudden painless loss of vision in right eye, more so in inferior field. He had vision of, I'm sorry for that visual mix-up. He had vision of 4 by 16 right eye and 6 by 6 in left eye, and had a history of hypertension. His fundus looked like this. There was a presence of disc edema in the right eye, while the left eye disc was classically a small disc, which we classically call as a small disc at rest. His angiography were normal except for there was a segmental disc leak from this segmental leak from the disc. Otherwise, the choroidal picture was normal. So this was a typical case of non-arthritic ischemic optic neuropathy. We've advised him strict blood control and avoidance of nocturnal hypotension by taking his medication early in the evening or in the morning and avoiding them in the night. The third case is a 50-year-old female who presented with complaints of loss of vision in right eye for past 5 days. She also had a history of single episode of fever almost 20 days back. She was a known case of diabetic mellitus for past 10 years. On examination, her vision was extremely poor in right eye of 1 by 60, while in left eye it was 6 by 6, and she had a history of, she also showed RAPT. This was her fundus picture. Right eye showed disc edema over here with a small hemorrhage here, and the left eye was otherwise absolutely normal. So we investigated her further. We did the imaging, and this is what we found. We found that there was a thickened and edematous right optic nerve, and there was bilateral enhancement post contrast in both the eyes, right eye showed more enhancement as compared to left eye, and there was also some fat stranding suggestive of atypical optic neuritis. So we went ahead and did serology for her, and we found that she was positive for MOG antibodies. She was treated as per optic neuritis protocol, given 3 days of IV steroids followed by oral prednisolone. However, there was some recovery at the 2 weeks follow-up. I'm yet to follow up her further. So this is the result at 2 weeks. So I just want to say that it is easy to differentiate a non-arthritic ischemic optic neuropathy from an arthritic ischemic optic neuropathy. The diagnosis is mainly clinical and is aided with blood investigations like ESR and CRP, which are very sensitive to pick an arthritic AIN. If they are raised, we are pretty much sure that we are dealing with vasculitis, and they are also used for the monitoring of the disease. While it may be very difficult to differentiate a non-arthritic ischemic optic neuropathy from the papillitis, especially the MOG-associated papillitis, as Dr. Sachdeva was talking, because these patients not only have the overlap of age, but also the fundus picture, which is seen in form of disc edema as well as hemorrhage. So nowadays it is becoming more and more difficult to differentiate the two. But we may have certain investigations like MRI, which may help in differentiating. The DWI imaging, which is considered more characteristic for ischemic optic neuropathy. So the signals are more commonly seen in ischemic optic neuropathies, but it has also been reported that they are also seen in acute optic neuritis. So in certain cases, we may still be not able to differentiate the two. Similarly, the post-contrast enhancement is also been reported in non-ischemic optic neuropathies, not in acute stage, but in later stage. So that is also an issue when we have to differentiate the two diseases. The role of OCTA is being discussed more and more in differentiating papillitis from non-arthritic ischemic optic neuropathy. Dr. Virender had very nicely shown how two can be differentiated, and the studies have shown, although it is possible to differentiate a papilledema from papillitis and NAIN, it may be little difficult to differentiate papillitis from NAIN. Dr. Gandhi et al. In their paper have shown that NAIN in NAIN cases, there are two typical pattern of peripapillary capillary loss. One is a diffuse pattern, and another is a focal pattern that was shown by Dr. Sachdeva also. So maybe there may be some subtle sign which may help us in differentiating the two entities, but there are still not any very characteristic features that can be used for differentiating. As far as management is concerned, the management of arthritic AION is straightforward. We use steroids first intravenously and then oral, and that has to be monitored with the help of ESR and CRP. If required, immunosuppressants can be used. As far as non-arthritic ischemic optic neuropathy is concerned, various medications have been tried, but no definitive management has still come out of it. Steroids have been seen useful in certain subset of patients where the disc edema is more, where the age of patient is less. In those cases, the steroids have shown to have some effect. Anti-VEGF have also been used, but without any definitive result. Similarly, a new molecule QPI 1007 has been tried in a multicentric studies, but it also has not shown to have very encouraging result. So we still do not have a definitive management for NAIN except for the modulation of risk factors that are present for this condition. With that, I would like to enter my talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Swati. Thank you for keeping the time and that wonderful talk. We have a couple of minutes for discussion, open to expert panel.
Can I have a question, Dr. Rashmi? So is a disc at risk is a definitive requisite for developing non-arthritic A1? Because in the case Dr. Swati showed, which turned out to be MOG. I thought the cup was a larger cup, but it eventually turned out to be MOG. So can a larger cup be taken as a exclusive factor for which can exclude non-atretic A1? Little larger cup.
I am really not sure, Dr. Mahesh, on that, but as you are absolutely right that a small disc is definitely a risk factor for non-arthritic ischemic optic neuropathies, but I cannot definitely say that the larger cup will rule it out. But we have seen cases where even the cup was not large, but okay, but still we had non-arthritic ischemic optic neuropathy diagnosed in those cases.
Okay, thank you.
Do you do fluorescent angiography in all patients with NAION, Swati?
No, Dr. Murli, not as a routine, unless we suspect that, something is atypical in those cases.
Thank you.